Good evening. Welcome into Sports Talk at the Stadium tonight from Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, where what was supposed to be a festive homecoming evening for Gamecock fans turned out to be anything but that. As USC falls to Missouri 23-10, it was an overcast, cool day here in Columbia, and the Gamecocks played without any fire throughout most of this game against the Missouri Tigers. They were the favorites. They were favored by about 4 points. They were ranked 25th. They were riding a four-game winning streak coming in. They were coming off a win over Texas A&M. They had beaten Kentucky prior to that, but they just did not bring it today for whatever reason you want to point to. You have to give Missouri a lot of credit. Knew going in that their defense was pretty good. They've done a lot of different things on defense. They made it tough for a lot of offenses, and they did that today to Spencer Rattler. And the Gamecock offense did not help that Marshawn Lloyd had a contusion on a quad that was very painful for him. He tried to go as much as he could, but he was basically out the entire second half. They missed his running threat considerably. Missouri's pressure on Rattler prevented any down the field passing. They were able to complete some short passes here and there, but nothing consistently. Offensive line couldn't really handle the pressure that was coming from that Missouri defense as well. So just a tough day all the way around for the Gamecock offense. Defense played well enough to have won this game had there been some complimentary performance from the offensive side. And special teams, even though they had one long kickoff return, it was called back. But otherwise, special teams not a major factor here today either. And the Gamecocks did not, on defense, pick up any turnover, so that didn't help either. So Missouri comes in and eventually goes on top. 96-yard drive, 15 plays. That was the longest drive the Gamecocks have allowed this season in terms of yardage, and it was 7-0, and they ate up a bunch of clock on that one. They dominated, Missouri did, the first quarter, 21 plays to 8 for the Gamecocks, 118 yards to 29. So that was an indication of what was to come. Later, 84-yard, 10-play drive for Missouri. The quarterback did a good job running the offense, and then the running back, Schrader, he ran in from a yard out to make it 14-0 Missouri. Started to wonder then just what could the Gamecocks get going offensively. Later, they had a pass interception by Smith, but that was taken away on a ticky-tacky call by the official. Shane Beamer did not agree with that call either. And the Tigers, they drive to the 4 following that play. The Gamecocks lose the takeaway. Missouri drives it to the 4, kick a field goal, and they're up 17-0. Finally, the Gamecocks would respond right before the half. They went 82 yards in 12 plays, and that was a combination of some runs by Lloyd, some good passing by Rattler, including a 25-yard pass to Stogner. Some penalties on Missouri helped sustain the drive as well. And Rattler scored the touchdown on a 7-yard run. That made it 17-7 at the break. Gamecocks were still in it despite only having 104 yards. Missouri was 6 of 8 on third downs in the first half. They had 254 total yards in the first half. They ran 38 plays to the Gamecocks 23. Yet South Carolina was going to get the second half kickoff. They were still in this ball game. But again, Lloyd comes out. He does not start the second half, and he's just used on a few plays and was not a factor in the second half, and that hurt. The Gamecocks tried to get something going, but Rattler lost a fumble on a scramble at the USC 10. A good sign for the defense. They did not wilt. They did not bend. They forced a field goal. It was no good, so no harm, no foul there, and the Gamecocks are still in it. They get the football. They drive to the Missouri 21. It was their only drive of the second half of any substance. Jeter, 8 for 8 on field goals on the season. He boots it in. It's 17-10, so still very much a ball game. Gamecock defense doing a good job not allowing touchdowns. They are giving up field goals, a 50-yarder and then a 32-yarder. So it becomes a 23-10 ball game. There's still some time left, but the offense just can't get anything going. Except for that one field goal drive, the Gamecocks did not cross midfield the entire rest of the second half. And so there's no offense. So they're not going to catch up in this one when there's no offense to speak of. The 203 yards that the Gamecocks had today, that was their total offense, 203 yards. That's the fewest number of yards they've had all season. In fact, the Gamecocks have regressed In every game since the Charlotte game offensively, they had over 500 yards against Charlotte, and they have had fewer yards in each game since then. For them, you hope it's topped off by this 203 yards today. Interesting, Jaheim Bell, who is supposed to be one of the Gamecocks' key offensive weapons, he did not touch the ball today. He had no touches, nothing receiving, nothing running the football. So something that certainly they have to address. Missouri finishes with 367. The Gamecocks 203, only 32 rushing. Missouri had 4 sacks, 11 tackles for loss. They were 8 of 16 on third down, particularly good in the first half in sustaining those drives. Rattler was 20 of 30 for 171 yards. Wells was the leading receiver, 7 for 52. Stogner had some good catches, had about 60 yards in receiving. Cook, the quarterback from Missouri, 17 of 26 for 224. He was very good. He was very calm in the pocket. He ran the read option. He was very good faking the football, and he found a lot of openings as a result. Schrader, the running back, 22 carries for 81 yards, and Cook had 11 carries for 53 yards. Lovett, a guy we didn't talk about much going into the ball game, little receiver, catching a bunch of short stuff but turning them into plays. 10 catches for 158 yards. He was targeted 10 times, and he caught the ball 10 times. So South Carolina had a golden opportunity today to put itself in a fantastic position for the home stretch of the season, considering what was ahead. Vanderbilt next week, and then Florida in Gainesville after Florida took a licking today from Georgia, and then has to go to Texas A&M the week before playing South Carolina. Had the Gamecocks won this game today, they'd be sitting on 6 wins, maybe looking at 7 next week, maybe looking at 8. Going down to Florida, if you could take care of business there, things were really looking good. This was a major setback for those plans for South Carolina. Hurts in a number of ways. Of course, it hurts reputation-wise. People say, well, there goes South Carolina again. They can't sustain success. You know, they get ranked, and they beat Texas A&M for the first time, and they can't handle Missouri at home. And Missouri has a losing record, though, as we know, the losses in the SEC for them have all been by close margins. Still, it's a team with a losing record. You were favored at home, and this is one you should have put in your back pocket, but they just didn't play well enough. Didn't play well enough in any phase of the ball game. So the Gamecocks fall to 5-3 and 2-3. Their 4-game winning streak is over, and now, after ending that long losing streak to Texas A&M and beating the Aggies for the first time, they've now lost 4 times in a row to Missouri, as Missouri has taken control of this series with the Gamecocks. So the Gamecocks break the losing streak to Kentucky. They break the losing streak to Texas A&M, but they can't break their losing ways against Missouri. So a disappointing day here for South Carolina fans all the way around, and they called it a sellout. It was a sellout, but it wasn't filled up by any means. A lot of empty seats to start this ball game, and it became emptier as the game wore on. So Shane Rattler and some players spoke with us after the game. We've got that on our website, and make that Shane Beamer and Spencer Rattler and some players spoke to the media after the ball game. We've got that on our website, and we will hear more from Shane Beamer tomorrow night on his conference call. We'll have that for you at sportstalksc.com. Final once again, South Carolina falls to Missouri today at Williams-Brice Stadium by a score of 23-10. Thanks for checking us out here, sportstalksc.com. Our coverage brought to you by the South Carolina Beef Council.